Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play StarCon2, the Urquan Masters. I'm Kamchak Fisco. Come join me for an old-school adventure.
What other group of aliens are you interested in?
Were there any alien races who weren't in the war?
None that we had made formal contact with. The Chenjesu implied that they had met two other star-faring species, one near the Gickless constellation and the other directly coreward from Procyon. The Arilu once mentioned having some fun with an alien race in Draconis. But like so much else with the Arilu, they never revealed the whole story. I'm sure there are hundreds more alien races in our galaxy, but beyond what I've told you, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, we have quite a few locations to check out now.
Would you like information on any other aspect of history?
Damn right. I'm interested in the war against the hierarchy.
What about the war?
How did the war with the Urquan start?
Earth got involved late in the game in 2112 when the Chenjesu arrived in our solar system for the first time. So let's back up a few years to 2098 when the Chenjesu super-sensitive receivers detected a strange signal from the Ophiuchi constellation. Though even the Chenjesu didn't know it, it was the first sign of the Urquan's arrival.
Stay away from Ophiuchi.
The Urquan, having detected the presence of many sentient species, were beaming out an exulting hunting cry.
Okay.
First direct evidence of the Urquan's intent was the sudden conquest of the Umga, a solitary though not unfriendly species in the Orionis constellation.
Now we know where they are.
The Chenjesu, distraught by the invasion, were further angered when the Urquan turned their fleets on the hostile but weak Ilrath race. A hastily assembled defense force of Myrna Hermann Chenjesu vessels turned the Urquan fleet aside, but the invader moved into Spathi space, rapidly subjugating that race. With each new conquest, the Urquan fleet grew larger as it added slave vessels to its ranks. Earth joined the Chenjesu to form the Alliance of Free Stars at about the same time as the Androsynth stars fell to the Urquan Armada. Before the ink was dry on our agreement with the Chenjesu in 2116, a new race appeared in orbit around the moon and asked for admittance to the Alliance. It was the Arilu. Timing seemed unusual, and the Arilu were definitely weird, looking like saucer men from Mars, but we were too busy cranking up our mothballed heavy industry that we really didn't pay it much attention at the time.
Yeah, they showed up right in time to help us fight the war. Why? We're gonna have to hunt them down and get some answers. What happened during the war?
At the start of the war, here on Earth, we were working like crazy, churning out hundreds of heavy cruisers and smaller support vehicles. The Urquan were busy too. Unbeknownst to us, they had moved down towards the Luton Star Group and were attacking the Vux, who only the Ahot knew existed. Our botched first contact with the Vux took place in 2119, and it was the biggest single mistake we made during the war. After defeating the Vux, the Urquan fleets ran smack into the combined might of the Ahot and Show-Fixty, supported by the first wave of our cruisers. Again, the Urquan turned away from the hard spot to attack the weak, though we just thought they were running away. In fact, the Urquan had found another independent alien race, the Mycon, in the Brahi constellation.
So Mycon and Brahi.
Mycon's voluntary submission to the Urquan brought the return of the Urquan fleets, now swollen with 100 devastating Mycon pod ships.
Ew.
The last entrants to the conflict were the Cyrene, a race of space gypsies who had escaped the hierarchy by moving their vast fleet of slow-moving habitats into human space. With the side set, the last Urquan offensive began.
Now, before we move forward, another thing to know about the Cyrene, the reason why the male humans act stupid in this is because during the catastrophe that wiped out their homeworld, they also lost all the males of their species. And they're genetically close enough to the humans that they're cross-compatible. So we kind of helped give them what they needed to keep their race going, although for some reason they never were able to breed males. So that's part of the whole bizarre dynamic of why it's a race of all females. Because we end up learning a lot more about that. I just want you guys to know that the Cyrene are all women. Nothing wrong with that, just letting you know that's what that race is. How did the war end, Commander?
The Urquan came roaring through Vux space and tried to push past the India and Mira star systems. Their onslaught was barely repulsed, and our counterattack made hardly a dent on the hierarchy forces, but we held the line. The coreward front remained intact. Over the following 10 years, there were many great battles between the combined Alliance Starfleet and the Urquan and their hierarchy of battle thralls. Then in 2134, a dramatic shift in the balance of power took place. This must have been about the time the science research mission was sent to the planet of Vela.
We got cut
Our
off.
fleets were pushed back from the Indy-Mira line beyond Raynet. Holding Rigel caused grievously in Chenjesu forces, and the Urquan, recognizing this weakness, shifted to focus the brunt of their forces on Procyon. That was the last we heard from the Chenjesu and the Murnaher. A few weeks later,
Not
waves of ships hit us from all directions.
Yeah.
When Ceres Station, our outpost on the asteroid belt, fell to the hierarchy, we knew we were beaten, but we fought on anyway. 3 days later, the Urquan vaporized our last remaining laser forts on the moon, and the dreadnoughts took up geosynchronous position above Rome, Moscow, Beijing, Tokyo, London, Buenos Aires, and Washington.
Odd.
We'd lost the war, and we knew it. But the Urquan decided to make it real clear. And that's why if you check any of our most recent maps, you won't find Buenos Aires.
Damn. What happened after the war?
After the UN submitted their formal surrender, we were given a week to decide the nature of our servitude. The Urquan demanded that the decision be made through popular vote. When all the votes were tallied, Earth had chosen not to fight for the Urquan.
Makes sense.
We had become a fallow slave world. We were given a month to withdraw all of our people and equipment to Earth. Anyone or anything left off-planet would be destroyed after the shield went up. Then the Urquan broadcast an odd message. All objects of human construction more than 500 years old were to be abandoned.
Why?
We didn't know what the Urquan meant until they moved their dreadnoughts into new orbital positions and opened fire on the surface with their fusion weapons. In seconds, large sections of London, Paris, and other European cities were incinerated. At first, we thought they were going to annihilate us after all. And we noticed they were also striking such targets as the Giza Pyramids, the Parthenon in Athens, and Stonehenge. Curiously, the United States was almost untouched. The flaming rain lasted 40 hellish hours.
God.
It took days after we crawled from our smoldering shelters to realize what the Urquan had done. Our new masters had targeted every building, monument, or other man-made construction older than 500 years and destroyed it. In those 2 days, we lost
Wiped
most
out
of the history of mankind.
Shit.
In some cases, the Urquan destroyed places we did not even suspect were significant. From their positions in orbit, the dreadnoughts blew away a kilometer of land in central Iraq, vaporized several targets in the Amazon rainforest, punched a big hole through the Antarctic ice cap to destroy something deep under the surface, and melted a broad swath of the ocean floor in the southeastern Atlantic.
That one's Atlantis.
Then, just a couple of days later, the shield went up.
I'm not sure
and
what the
our
other
contact with the
locations were.
outside world stopped. The next time I saw the stars was 8 years ago, when I was transferred up here to be the new commander of this starbase.
I can only assume the one in Antarctica was maybe crashed alien ships or something. I don't know. I don't know what all these sites were. I'm actually really curious.
Would you like any information on any other aspect of history?
What about ancient galactic history?
We have some data on this subject. What do you want to know about?
Will you just tell me about the precursors?
Hell, you probably know more about them than I do, but here goes. About 200,000 years ago, when our great-to-the-nth grandparents were just starting to play with stone knives and bearskins, a star-faring species suddenly appeared on the galactic scene and spread like wildfire. We found evidence of their presence just about everywhere, from an orbital platform on Alpha Centauri to a stack of data plates in a cave on Pluto to some nameless widget found in a voodoo shop in New Orleans. And we never found a precursor body or even a picture of one. We can conjecture what they look like by examining the scale and layout of their equipment. Such an analysis indicates they were giants, say 5 to 8 meters tall and twice as wide. I don't know if they looked more like a brontosaur or an elephant. Anyway, about 3,000 years after the precursors made their dramatic appearance, they vanished. Poof! As far as we can tell, it took less than a decade to happen.
Wow. So something happened to their species and they vanished. It's possible the Antarctic thing, that they burrowed that far in the ice, that was a precursor base or heavy ship or something. I don't know. What about other races from the ancient past?
You mean besides the precursors? Well, the only information we have is secondhand based on some research by a Chenjesu historian that I read at the academy. Zentzurtzak, the historian, found some evidence that there was a group of alien races who formed an interstellar empire not too far from here about 22,000 years ago.
Wow.
The only species in this empire who actually lived in our region of space was a race of rock-like creatures who lived in the Vulpeculae constellation.
So I should go to Vulpeculae
The presence
as well.
of the hostile androsynth in that part of space severely limited Zentzurtzak's research.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Never even found out the race's name.
Is there any indication the aliens had visited Earth in the past?
Yes, there is. Aside from the precursor relics we have found on Earth, often in museums mislabeled as modern art, we've discovered disturbing evidence of much more recent visitations. Perhaps you're already aware that during the mid to late 20th century, there were unaccountable UFO sightings as well as dozens of reported encounters with alien life forms.
Damn heirloom.
Although we can discount many of the reports as wishful fabrication or traumatic translation, the military authorities of the time kept a secret record of the incidents which were legitimate.
Lovely.
In each such case, the aliens are almost identical in appearance. They have white skin and minimal facial features except for huge almond-shaped eyes, which are often described as glowing or luminescent. This description fits almost perfectly the Arilu Lalile. In most of the legitimate encounters, the people involved describe being physically examined or modified by the alien. In some cases, unusual pregnancies occurred, and in almost every instance, there were repeat visitations as though the Arilu Lalile were doing checkups on their subjects. We never got the chance to confront the Arilu Lalile about what they did to us and why. I wonder if we ever will.
So they were modifying the human race. Lovely! This is fascinating, but I've got to move on.
Would you like information on any other aspect of history?
I think we've covered everything.
Sure. Anything else?
Alright, I think we were on input and how to defeat the Urquan.
Can you be more specific?
Where can I find the most useful, plentiful mineral resources?
If you have the patience, I would recommend you spend several months or even a year gathering mineral resources. You can find such minerals on almost any planet's surface, but the quality and density will vary depending upon the type of planet you're on. Base metals are probably the most common materials you'll find, but they aren't particularly valuable. You can find rarer precious and radioactive elements on metal-rich worlds such as Mercury. An old miner once told me that you could tell the relative quality of a planet's minerals based on the planet's color as seen from space. To remember the color sequence from good to bad, the miner had a mnemonic that went something like, very young orangutan could grow bananas perhaps rather well.
Purple,
It is
red, and
also
white.
the case that mineral yields will be better
the
at
best
hotter
ones.
stars. Temperature is related to the size and color of the star. Red stars are the coolest, then orange, yellow, green, blue, and the hottest stars are white.
So with the stars, you want to look for white. For the planets, you want purple, red, or white. How should I deal with the aliens I meet in space?
That all depends on whom you meet, doesn't it, Captain?
Yeah.
Well, in all seriousness, if you encounter the Ilrath, Bucks, Androsynth, or other hierarchy battle thralls, I wouldn't hold out much hope for a peaceful encounter.
You never know
So
till
if
you
you
try.
feel you have the advantage, attack. The resources you will scavenge from the enemy's wreckage are well worth the effort.
Good to
If
know.
you can find alliance races who are in a position to help us, then you must convince them to join with us.
Yeah.
Their assistance may be crucial to our success.
I have no doubt. If you were in my shoes, what would you do now?
Let's see. You need to build up and balance the strength of your flagship. I would add thrusters up to, say, 5 or 6. Speed is essential in combat, but it would also pay off over the long haul in hyperspace. And if you prefer to avoid confrontation, nothing beats a great pair of legs. I would add turning jets for increased maneuverability. I would add enough weapons to defend yourself if you're caught without escort ships. You need more crew, at least 50 to make productive voyages into space. You need additional fuel, at least 50 units. Your weapons will be underpowered in combat if you don't have at least one dynamo. Use the resource units you have accumulated to improve your flagship.
That's a lot of tips. How can we deal with the Urquan?
Captain, I wish I had an easy answer, but I don't. The only way I can see of liberating Earth as well as the Alliance allies is to destroy the Urquan and their armada of battle thralls entirely.
Yeah? Commander, do you have any long-range plans to defeat the Urquan hierarchy?
To defeat our enemies, we will need awesome strength, both in your flagship and the fleet, as well as the assistance of powerful new allies. Though combat will be unavoidable and sometimes necessary to achieve our goals, I'm certain your wits will be at least as important as your weapons.
Yep.
You'll need to explore this region of space, gathering resources and information wherever you go.
How can I find the Urquan?
I don't know, Captain, but I suspect their battle thralls know more than we do, so I suggest you try to gather information from them, perhaps by force.
Well, technically, you already told me the star system that we know where they're from, which is north of us, or Coreward, or however it goes. How can we attack the Urquan most effectively?
At first, your ship will be far too vulnerable to permit frontal assaults on the Urquan. Even when your ship is at full power, we're faced with the reality that the hierarchy has thousands of ships. You cannot win the fight alone, Captain. You need allies.
Yep.
Also, towards the end of the war, when the hierarchy broke through the Coreward front, we heard rumors that the Urquan had unleashed some kind of super weapon which was unstoppable by normal means.
Oh, great.
You need to find out if that rumor was true, Captain, because if the Urquan do have such a weapon, we'll have to find some way to stop it, or all our efforts are for naught.
No shit. How can I make alliances? With whom?
If you encounter an unknown alien race, proceed carefully and diplomatically. We need all the friends we can get, and we certainly can't afford any more enemies.
Yeah.
Remember, Captain, with your precursor starship, you hold awesome power. But there will be situations when dealing with an alien race where a carrot will serve better than a stick. But first, you must determine what carrot the alien wants.
That's the rub. What's the fastest way for us to build up our strength?
You need to accumulate enough resources so we can build up your flagship and assemble a strong fleet. I'd also recommend that you acquire blueprints for other more powerful ships than our trusty cruiser.
Yeah.
I suspect that aliens will not give you such prints unless you form an alliance with them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What else can we discuss? What else can I tell you?
That's it. We got everything we can.
Fine. Is there anything else you need?
Goodbye, Commander. I'm off to collect resources.
Farewell, Captain.
He says some pretty funny things when you leave, so they're all different. My personal thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. You all are awesome viewers. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. It means a lot to me, and I do hope you enjoy them. So you all take care of yourselves, and if you want to see more of me, keep up a video on the list, or stay tuned for more. Feel free to leave a comment below. Please remember to take that like button if you enjoyed the video. In the meantime, fare thee well, everyone.